What is going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and thumbs up the video until it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary, because the King is in fact Kanging. Also, if you love everything that the King does here, you can also donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or paypal.me/Consciouztv, and that's conscious with the Z on the end, spelled just how it is here on the channel. All donation information is in the description box below. Last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're loud, live, and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, you gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What is going on, Conscious Crew? Yes, this is pre-recorded. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and get into some things. There is a lot going on in the realm of Hollywood as it relates to cases, okay? So this is a very court-centered live stream. And what's funny about the theme of this live stream is that we're under a retrograde. You guys know that the pre-shadow of Mercury's retrograde began on the 21st of this month. It will technically come to a complete end on the 16th of December. So right around the major holiday of Christmas and New Year's, we'll see some lifting up of all of the conflict and tensions that are going to arise once, you know, this retrograde is lifted. The sad part about it is that we're also experiencing a government shutdown right amidst the Mercury's retrograde as well, which could draw this government shutdown out even more, because retrograde arouses all things confrontational. It's about getting to the rooty of the tooty. It's about confronting the ego, which, depending on how the energies deal with that pull and with that shadow work, it could result in explosive conflict, or it could result in beautiful resolve and healing, considering how problematic this government is, child. Everything that the Democrats are going to do in order to save democracy and to save resources for the American people probably is going to, unfortunately, inflame this ignorant ash regime even more. And I do believe that Donald Trump is probably going for the most extreme government shutdown ever, because it's just a way to collapse all of these social services that Project 2025 already wants to dismantle. But that is another story for another day. But keep your head on a swivel, you guys. This particular retrograde is going to be pretty significant and tug on the particular wig caps of Geminis, Virgos, Scorpios like myself, and also Sagittarius. Now, I believe the most significant retrograde experience for me has already happened, and it happened right before retrograde set in. So I've already done a lot of the work, and I feel really good about how I am navigating and dealing with certain things. So I hope you guys also are coming into this retrograde ready to do your work. Don't resist it. Don't deny it. Retrograde is all about the introspection of it all, the retrospection of it all, and the forward moving of it all. So lean into all the things Retrograde is trying to get your attention about. All right. So first thing on the docket is, girl, we're going to open up with some great news for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta alum, Miss Karlie Redd, child. You got may or may not know that Karlie Redd of Love and Hip Hop got married. Unfortunately, I think we all saw that divorce coming as quickly as we saw the marriage come. But she was charged and arrested for allegedly breaking into her ex-husband's home and also retrieving several items. But there's been a legal victory as all charges have been dropped against Karlie. Now, for those of you who need the full 111, let's visit over to Boss Up and get into all things Karlie, child, who's having a great retrograde experience. The news was confirmed by her high-profile attorney, Steve Sado, on Wednesday, October 22nd, who shared a copy of the DeKalb County order stating that the case would not be prosecuted. Quote, the bogus case against my client, Karlie Redd, one of the stars of the show Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, has been officially dismissed. And here is a copy of that order, baby. She is absolved of all charges. Yes, God. Karlie Redd has also since shared a official statement to Boss Up. Quote, I want to clearly state that I was never guilty of the allegations made against me. These claims were completely untrue, and I was unfairly targeted by false statements made by my ex-husband. The dismissal of all charges confirms the truth. I am thankful for my legal team, my family, my supporters, and everyone who stood by me during this difficult time. My focus now is on continuing my work, advocating for survivors, and moving forward with strength and grace. But why was Karlie Redd charged to begin with burglary? Redd, whose legal name is Carly Lewis, was arrested in April of this year for allegedly entering the private home of her estranged husband, Talou Belton, without permission and taking several personal items before posting bond. As previously reported by Madame Noir, the incident happened in January, with prosecutors alleging that she took personal items belonging to the resident. Early this year, Redd's ex-husband was charged in Fulton County with family violence battery against her, to which her lawyer, Sado, said in a previous disclosure that he was, quote, very confident that Karlie's case will be resolved favorably. Now, a press release reports that Sado was right with an order filed by a DeKalb assistant district attorney and signed by Judge Letitia Deere Jackson that states, quote, it is hereby considered, ordered, and adjudged that the above styled case be nolle prosequi for the following reasons. While probable cause exists, the state is unable to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So the probable cause and the beyond a reasonable doubt scenario. So what it means is that when police were called and initial investigations began, there was enough probable cause based upon the circumstances at hand to assume that Karlie was guilty of what had been accused of her. Now, I don't know whether Karlie was on the scene when police arrived, etc., or what the circumstances were, but the police felt they had enough probable cause to take the ex-husband's claims at face value and charge and arrest her accordingly. Now, the DA choosing to not basically pursue charges because their inability to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt means that there isn't enough concrete, absolute, objective, empirical evidence to believe that they could, beyond a reasonable doubt, convince a jury of these allegations against Karlie. So the evidence didn't hold up enough to hold the charges, but hold up initially to at least have initially arrested and charged her. Now Karlie can focus on much more positive things like her successful new ATL restaurant, Restroom Bistro, and her continued advocacy for domestic abuse survivors through her nonprofit Big Heart Foundation. So this is a great win for Karlie. I don't know whether Karlie is in fact guilty of what was accused of her. I mean, I know Karlie would like to believe that this means that, you know, she absolutely had nothing to do with anything and that these claims were literally completely bogus, but that's not really the articulation of the DA. They just didn't feel with what they had, you know, that they could guarantee a win in front of a jury. But it doesn't necessarily mean that Karlie Ass is not guilty, considering how Karlie Redd has been on reality TV acting a plum freaking fool. I mean, you know, it's hard to put anything past these people because they are absolute and utter clowns. However, the case has concluded. Karlie gets to move on with her life, and hopefully she can stay her ass out of trouble, okay? But shout out to Karlie Redd girl for a retrograde victory. Let's get into Muni Long, who is y'all favorite R&B ballad singer girl, who is being sued under this retrograde by ex-managers who call her a serial grifter in a lawsuit over fees. But the singer's current team denies those claims outright. My God, today. So check this out, you guys, courtesy of Billboard.com. Muni Long's former managers are suing the singer for refusing to pay more than $600,000 worth of promised fees, though the Grammy-winning R&B star's team calls the claims unfounded. Long, whose government name is Priscilla Renee Hamilton, is facing breach of contract claims from Ebony Sun Entertainment, the Atlanta-based management company run by Shaka Zulu and Jeff Dixon. The duo is best known for managing Ludacris, with whom they started the record label Disturbing the Peace in 1998. Ebony Sun claims in a Thursday, October 23rd federal court complaint that Zulu and Dixon's hard work was instrumental to Long's success, including her win for Best R&B Performance at the Grammy Awards this year. But Long fired her managers in January and now owes hefty commissions from live shows and recordings and writing gigs, according to the complaint. Quote, defended Priscilla Renee Hamilton is publicly known as the musical artist Muni Long, but her less well-known performances are as a serial grifter, reads the lawsuit. After taking the benefit of plaintiff's elite and highly sought-after management services for more than a year, Muni Long shamelessly reneged on her promises to pay plaintiff the agreed-upon customary percentage of revenue she earned, and only earned because plaintiff assisted in obtaining those engagements. Now, this Billboard page is jumping all around, you guys, so hang in there with me. Long team denies the claims as unfounded in a statement to Billboard on Friday. The team says it, quote, deeply unfortunate that the matter could not be resolved privately and professionally, claiming Long made good faith settlement offers even though no formal contract ever existed with Ebony Sun. The situation has been particularly distressing as it involves the same team that took possession of the artist's phone and sought to have her involuntarily committed to a mental health facility despite medical confirmation that she was suffering from a lupus flare-up, says Long's team in the statement. Quote, all appropriate avenues are being pursued to ensure that the truth is fully and fairly defended. The artist hopes this underscores the importance to all those in creative fields to safeguard their personal and professional boundaries and be discerning about those they trust to represent them. Zulu and Dixon have been battling with Long in court since July when the manager's first level allegations over the unpaid commissions in a California state court complaint. The state court case was withdrawn just days before Ebony Sun took the claims to a federal court. Long broke onto the R&B scene in 2022 with her hit single Hers and Hers, which spent 20 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 and peaked at number 16 on the chart. She signed with Def Jam Recordings that year, and Hers and Hers won the Grammy for Best R&B Performance at the 2023 ceremony. According to Thursday's lawsuit, Long had her first meeting with Zulu and Dixon at New Orleans Essence Festival of Culture in July of 2023. During this meeting, the managers say Long allegedly agreed to pay the duo 20% of all her gross revenue and reimburse all management-related expenses. Zulu and Dixon say they began putting in work for Long within days of being hired, ensuring that her 2024 album, Revenge, was released before the Grammys cutoff date. This made it possible for Long to win another Best R&B Performance Grammy that year for her song Made for Me, the lawsuit claims. The managers allege Long paid her required commissions and reimbursements for over a year, but that she purportedly became unhappy with the amount of the fees and ultimately stopped all payments in October 2024. In January, they say she officially cut ties with Ebony's son. Quote, the plaintiff, who worked tirelessly to advance Muni Long's career, has secured over $5 million in revenue for defendants to date, says the complaint. But as to a significant percentage of this revenue, defendants have failed to pay plaintiff the corresponding commission payments as required by the agreement. Zulu and Dixon claim Long owes more than $600,000 worth of commissions and expenses from the money she made via live shows, a $1 million ASCAP publishing deal, songwriting agreements with Shinshi and Twiya Savage, and features on tracks by Teddy Swims and Tusi. The lawsuit says Long also owes fees on other sources of revenue that Zulu and Dixon have not yet been able to fully audit, including the money she made opening for Chris Brown on the 11/11 tour in 2024. Unrelatedly, Zulu was criminally charged with murder in 2022 for shooting a man during an altercation in Atlanta. The charges were later dropped after prosecutors determined that Zulu was acting in self-defense. You guys, these people are saying that, look, girl, this lady went on to make much success and money off of our footwork after she practically just said goodbye overnight. But her team is saying that there wasn't any formal contract in place to begin with. However, verbal agreements do also hold up in court as well. And with Muni Long paying her management fees and commissions for over a year means that she understood she was in contract, and that their argument that this contract was under good faith seems to be legitimized by the fact that she was in business with them for over a year. So it's going to be interesting to see whether the courts would agree with Muni Long that she either has a dissolved contract and doesn't owe Zulu and Dixon their money, or whether they agree with Zulu and Dixon that, you know, she needs to run them off their $600,000. Fascinating, child. Had no idea that she had even been in litigation since the mid of this year, girl. And once again, I'm not surprised that everybody got a legality going on right now, because Retrograde is so good for slinging out lawsuits and civil suits and all type of legal issues and contractual issues. These are the things that Retrograde are all about: communications, entanglements, the past coming back to haunt you. So this is right on theme. And because this is the last retrograde of the year, girl, I know she's going to go out with a motherfucking bang, which is why I expect this government shutdown to not come to an end anytime soon. Now, last but not least, girl, we got Beyonce's husband, Sean Carter himself, better known as Jay-Z, girl. There is a new court filing against Jay-Z by Ramir Satterwhite's godmother. So you guys may or may not know that Ramir Satterwhite is a young man who is claiming to be the biological son of the rapper, who he says was involved with his mother in an on-again, off-again situationship when she was around the age of 16. And the big problem with that is that Jay-Z was over the age of 21, even though 16 years of age is the age of consent in most states and certainly in New York. But because of the optics of that, people are arguing that this is why Jay-Z refuses to take the paternity test, because he would have to deal with the perceived notions that he's a PDF file. And that's ultimately what's making Jay-Z run from the paternity suit, which apparently has been an ongoing matter for over a decade. Initially brought about Jay-Z by Ramir's mom, who wrote in sworn affidavits, etc., who took up the legal matter against Jay-Z for child support, etc. But Ramir's mother unfortunately passed away. Then the mantle was picked up by Ramir himself, who recently dismissed his suit against Jay-Z. He claimed that he was being beat up on in the case, and Jay-Z and his resources were infinite, and Jay-Z basically told the courts that Ramir isn't even supposed to be litigating against him because previous courts have held him in contempt and put in civil restraining orders, and that even Ramir litigating him was a breaking of the law. And once Jay-Z had made that known to the judge, Ramir had retracted his lawsuit, child, and ran for cover. Now, I guess his godmother, Karlie, is taking up the mantle. She promised Ramir's mother that she would pursue justice until the end. You guys may or may not know that Lily and Ramir also sat down with Trasha Coochie K on her platform either earlier this year or last year. They gave a play-by-play of kind of how all this began, some of the hardship that they've experienced trying to fight Jay-Z in court, from Ramir godmother losing her home to Jay-Z, Alex Spiro, and they're taking advantage of legal loopholes, etc. They've made all type of claims, child. But they've been through it and back. Now, Ramir claims that all he wants to know is if the man is in fact his father. He doesn't want any money from him, etc. Because if Jay-Z is in fact Ramir's father, he absolutely deserves his dad to have to go half on a baby, either by choice or by force, because Ramir is here and his mama did not immaculately conceive him, and he's entitled to his father's hands in the making of him. So let's read this article from Rolling Out. Jay-Z's new court fight takes an unexpected twist because Jay-Z gets a legal win here too, you guys. Lily Coyley's federal lawsuit against Jay-Z accuses the rapper of using the courts to retaliate and silence her, reigniting debates on celebrity power and justice. A new federal lawsuit has put rapper and business mogul Sean Jay-Z Carter back in the legal spotlight as Lily Coyley accuses him of retaliation and what she describes as vexatious litigation. The case, now before the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, has stirred public debate over whether celebrity influence can tip the scales of justice. Coyley's legal battle with Jay-Z began months ago after she filed an initial lawsuit against the billionaire artist. Following her filing, Jay-Z's team reportedly moved for sanctions, scheduling a hearing on November 7th of 2025 in New Jersey. On October 21st, Coyley filed a new motion seeking emergency protection in California, requesting both a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction to halt what she calls retaliatory legal actions. According to her filings, the upcoming sanctions hearing represents an attempt to punish her for bringing forward claims against the music icon. Coyley, acting as her own attorney, argues that without swift intervention, she will face irreparable harm. In her court documents, Coyley describes Jay-Z's legal responses as retaliatory and designed to intimidate her into silence. She contends that the actions amount to vexatious litigation and abuse of the judicial process aimed at exhausting her resources, weakening her resolve. Coyley also cites the emotional and financial toll of defending herself against one of the most influential figures in the entertainment industry. Her case raises a critical question: can an ordinary citizen truly challenge a global superstar within a system where wealth and access often dictate outcomes? The law has ignited fresh discussions about the perceived imbalance between everyday individuals and celebrity defendants. Amongst Coyley's most serious allegations is her claim that Jay-Z impregnated a minor decades ago and later manipulated judicial processes to avoid accountability. These explosive accusations, though unproven, underscore her argument that the powerful figures can sometimes evade scrutiny through influence and resources. While Jay-Z has not publicly responded to these specific claims, the case has already drawn attention to broader concerns about how allegations against high-profile individuals are handled within the justice system. Karlie's persistent highlights the challenges faced by self-represented litigants when taking on wealthy opponents. Karlie's motion positions her legal struggle as a matter of public concern, not just personal justice. She argues that her case symbolizes a larger fight for individuals who feel overpowered by money, fame, or institutional bias. Her filings emphasize the need for judicial transparency and fairness, especially when public confidence in the system is at stake. Observers note that this lawsuit could serve a litmus test for how courts address perceived intimidation tactics in cases involving celebrities. The outcome may also shape public perception of accountability amongst the rich and famous, particularly within the entertainment world. The lawsuit has been assigned to Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett, who is expected to decide on Karlie's emergency request before November 7th sanctions hearing. Legal analysts suggest the ruling could influence how similar cases are handled, especially those involving claims of retaliation. If the injunction is granted, it may delay the New Jersey hearing and give Karlie temporary relief from what she describes as retaliatory court actions. If denied, the sanctions hearing will proceed as scheduled, potentially escalating the tensions between two parties. And the courts have ruled on her request, and they have denied it accordingly, girl. Jay-Z wins latest court battle as judge denies restraining order from alleged son's godmother. Jay-Z scored another victory in his long-running legal battle against Lily Coily, the godmother of a man who claims to be his biological son. On Friday, a California federal judge denied Karlie's emergency request for a restraining order which sought to halt a sanctions hearing she described as retaliatory. According to All Hip Hop, Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett ruled that Karlie failed to meet the legal standard for immediate court action, allowing Jay-Z's legal team to proceed with efforts to sanction her for what they call decades-long harassment, which is what they also cited against Premier in his suit that was just dismissed a month or two ago as well. Jay-Z's lawyers argue that the filings are abusive and unsupported by evidence, while Karlie continues to claim he has evaded DNA testing. All right, so baby, them Rock Nation powers, girl, them Rock Nation powers. Now, a lot of people have been arguing, girl, why won't Jay-Z just take the goddamn test? Well, it's been argued that if Jay-Z takes time out of his life to meet one random in the world claiming that he's the father, then he's going to be subjected to having to entertain them all, when all clout chasers and all people looking for 15 minutes and a grip and a payout decide that they don't have anything else to do after their SNAP benefits have been revoked to try to get rich off the next hot celebrity scandal. And I do agree that if Jay-Z opens up this can of worms by entertaining Ramir in a DNA test, my God, we're going to literally see the shenanigans ensue. It always happens when it comes to celebrity entertainers. If one person claims SA, there are 60 million other people who claim that they've been SA'd, and maybe amongst all those people, a handful may actually have a genuine case and argument, while the rest are just literally looking to get rich. So I can understand why Jay-Z won't take the test. But what I also will say is, if Jay-Z knows that he has sexual relations with this woman, and considering how old Ramir is, he knew that he had sex with this woman around the time that she would have had to conceive of Ramir, then it would be in his good conscience to do the right thing. Now, we know there's a lot of superficial reasons why Jay-Z may not want to do what technically is the morally upright thing to do. He doesn't want to deal with any backlash from impregnating a 16-year-old girl while he was legally a grown-ass man, even though she would have been at the age of consent too. But it optically would just look terrible for him, considering that he also just came out of getting a great lawsuit against him dismissed by someone who was factually lying on him. But then there's also the bleed over to his wife, Brand. We know that Beyonce tries to stand on business, at least optically. She has a pro-woman type of brand, body positivity, pro-black brand. Jay-Z having a child, and with the 16-year-old woman who's now deceased. It's just all a hot stinking mess. But at the end of the day, do I think that people's public image should be prioritized above what is morally sound? Absolutely not. And even though this would put a stain on Jay-Z, and there may also be some bleed over and backlash to Beyonce because this is her freaking husband, people would expect her to say something or do something. They should enter into the consequences of that, because doing the right thing should never be compromisable. And rationalizing why you shouldn't do what you know should be done is literally what selling your soul actually is. If Jay-Z knows he slept with Ramirez's mother, that conviction should bring him to bringing some closure to this situation. And I don't care if Ramir does want money from Jay-Z, because if Jay-Z, once again, is in fact his father, then he deserves the money too. Just like Blue Ivy, just like Sir, just like Rumi does. You know, it's not Ramir's fault that he's here. It's not Ramir's fault that Jay-Z is a public figure. It's not Ramir's fault that Jay-Z is married to a high-profile entertainer who's very private and has a very clean brand. None of those things are Ramir's responsibilities. He has no obligation to consider how Beyonce nor Jay-Z would be impacted by this if, in fact, Jay-Z is his father. And with the courts having to be an in-between in all of this, my heart really goes out to Ramir if he is the biological son of Jay-Z, because he has no choice but to try to get the truth from Jay-Z by using the courts. And if the courts don't honor that, then Ramir may never, in fact, get the truth, and that's going to be unfortunate. But hopefully, Ramir will be able to make contact with some of his other relatives and close of kin and be able to get a blood sample, because there's other ways for him to determine if he's related to the Carters aside from just going through Jay-Z. So hopefully, you know, he doesn't stop there with Jay-Z. If he's sincere is in the pursuit of truth on behalf of himself and his mother, and hopefully he'll take up the matter either legally or privately by pursuing some other closest of kin of Jay-Z to see if he can get a DNA match, and then the rest can in fact be history, because there are other ways to go about this, such as doing just that. So I will keep you guys updated on the developments of Ramir Godmother now, who is in, once again, a legal battle with Jay-Z. And I want you guys' opinions in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed yourself, you guys know you can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv and or paypal.me/Consciouztv, Conscious with the Z on the end, just like it is here on the channel. You can email me all the tea to consciouztv@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at Consciouztv and sign up to Patreon. It's only $5 a month to support the platform. And I love you guys so much. Check you guys later. Peace.